1 through 4 used. So it's always a good safe bet if the customer comes in and they have key 1 or 2, just click on key number 4, because usually that is one that isn't around, or if it is, nobody knows where it is. So you go to write key after you've picked 1 through 5 and click write key. It'll ask you put the key in the coil. Now we've put the key in the AK90 and it's ready to go. Click yes. What it does is it writes the information from position 4 to 7935 chip. It's a 7935 ID44 BMW chip. So right now it'll write the key and then it verifies it. Okay, so right now it says write key OK. Now we can test the key. We wrote this to position 4. If you click test key, it'll go back in and look at the key. You now have an EWS2 key type and it is a key number 4. So this right now, if it's cut the same as the other keys for this car, you can go out, put the EWS back in the plastic case, go ahead, put it back in underneath the dash, put the key in the ignition, and it fires up and it drives off just fine. Okay, now if you have a customer that comes in and says, hey, I've got a car that somebody broke into my house and took all the keys, I only have this one key left, then you would do real similar. You start all over again though. Either that or you open up a bin. For me it's always easier just read the EWS. Oh, once again it read the key because I didn't have it set for the EWS. The 2D47J, read the EWS, and you know these cars from the 90s are kind of slow. Kind of like me. Okay, so now we save it again. Save bin file, okay. Now, if we go to EWS Analyze, remember how we had keys 1 through 5? What you would do is, if a customer came in and they said, somebody stole all my keys, usually it'll be 1 through 4. So what you would do is you would click locked, 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 and then you would make number 5, and then you would click modify to dump. What that does is it locks out all the other keys. None of the other keys will work on this car except number 5 when I modify to dump and then write it back. So what we'll do is we'll modify to dump. What we did, remember how we read the data from the EWS? Well, we stored it right here in the program. Well, now we just modified it and said, hey, I want you to disregard keys 1 through 4. We made those changes in the bin file. That's the dump. Okay, now after we've made the changes, we need to write it back to the EWS. So now we're going to click write EWS. Connect the EWS. Okay. So now it will go in and it will write this data, sometimes very slowly, to the EWS. Whereas a lot of other cars, if you don't have the key with you when you program all the keys, they're all deleted, all the others. In this car, the data is there. You either have to tell it yes, you can use it, or no, disregard it. So right now we are actually writing the bin file, which is the program. It's kind of like the operating system, back to the EWS2. And you'll watch it. It will write the bin file and then it will verify it. And to verify it, it basically checks algorithms and how much data is there. and depending on how big the bin file is, and okay, write data okay. Depending on how big the bin file is and how fast of a communicating error it has, tells you how long it's going to take to write and then verify it. So now we've rewrote the EWS. Now I'm going to click read EWS again. Now it's going to go in. It's going to read, or it's going to wait, or it's going to do whatever it wants. No. So it will basically read the EWS, and it'll ask you to save it again. Okay, I usually just save it. Good enough. Now, if we go down and EWS analyze, you'll see how key status 1 through 4 is now locked. 5 is available. You can use it. And then positions 6 through 10 are not used. Now, if we wanted to unlock these, we would basically go over here, and you would think you would go to used and click on it, but no, on this you uncheck locked, which was fun learning at the beginning. So now we modify to dump, modify the data okay, and then you have to write the EWS again. So basically that is how you read the EWS, get the data from it, and then if you change any of the data on the EWS, you write it back to the EWS. And also how to make a key. Once we get done with this, we'll move on to the EWS 3, and that's pretty much the same thing. The only difference is the EWS 3 will give you a little bit more information, but all in all, it's the same. EWS all the way up to EWS 4. The EWS 4, some of the later models used a K-tronic, and for those you need a different interface that hooks into it. But they're all pretty much the same. If you do run into an EWS 4, you might, hopefully you won't have to, but you might end up having to solder, okay, write data okay. So now if we do read EWS, if we read it again, it'll basically show where we have gone ahead and put those keys back in play. I know it seems like somewhat of a convoluted way to do this, but if all you're going to do is make a copy for a person, all you have to do is read the key that they bring you, go out to the car, pull out the EWS unit, make a copy of the key, and then EWS analyze, those are used. Exit. If we want to write a key, basically we pick which key we want to copy, key 1 through 5 or 4 usually. PCF 793035, we click write key, it writes the information through the AK90 to the chip in the key, and you're good to go. If you look at some of the other EWSs, this is a 2D47J. If you go up here and you look at EWS K, which is K-line, if you look at the EWS picture, this is some of the X3, X5, EWS 4. Basically, they want you to solder onto this. I haven't done too many of the X3s or the X5s just because of this. I really don't want to mess with this. If you look at the some of the other EWS chips, these are the same ones. I mean, basically they want you to solder stuff on there. Now, some of the EWS3s also came out with the, and just to give you a heads up, this is the little part that you solder into the EWS4 if you want to get the information off of that. There's also another version that has a K-line 046J adapter. These, for the K-line, you will basically plug this unit into the AK90, goes into the EWS2 or 3. Then you plug this into the EWS unit. This is going to plug into those 12 little pins, and then you are going to take this grounding plug and you're going to put it on this pin. When you put it on this pin, it actually jump starts the chip and you can read it. Only ran into a couple of those, and they basically work the same as the rest of these that we've done. So that's it for the BMW EWS. Any questions, feel free to hit me on the board and tell me what an idiot I am. No, just kidding. If there are any questions or anything, feel free to shout, and hopefully we can work through it.